Oh yeah, welcome back to the Smallholding. So I'm actually getting started on a bit of seed sowing today. I'm very behind on the Smallholding at the moment after pulling my hamstring really badly on Boxing Day. I really need to remember when playing games with a family that I'm nearly 50 and I'm not 20 years old anymore. And I pulled my hamstring really badly, so I'm just behind on everything. Hedge cutting, and I've only just finished harvesting all my logs and I haven't got any seeds in yet, so this is the first seeds that I'm sowing. I can actually bend now, just starting to get a bit better. So what I've done, obviously modules and things are very sort of in at the moment and have been for a few years. I've just had a few issues with them in the past because I'm not here every day. I've come down after work and sometimes they've dried out a little bit. If they're in the polytunnel, I can get a swing. This time of year you can get a cold night, and especially as you come into early April, you can get a nice sunny bright day, and in the polytunnel you can get a swing of 40 degrees, and they're only the cheap Chinese polytunnels. There's no automatic opening windows or anything like that, and I've just had these temperature swings and it's just affected, even though it hasn't killed all the plants, I'm sure it affects them and they never seem to quite come back. So I've just taken a bit of a step back and I'm just going back to doing some of my stuff as transplants. The things that the temperature swing seems to affect more is like cabbages, broccoli, the sort of leafier stuff perhaps. So I'm just, like I say, I'm just going to go back to sowing them in a seed bed. I've just created this raised bed because my soil here a couple of inches down is very stony and hard, and I just don't want to tear the roots too much when I come to transplant. So I've created a nice seed bed. This is 50-50 homemade compost and homemade leaf mould. Determined never to have to buy any compost again. I should be self-sufficient now. I've got more than enough. I just need to make sure that it's good quality and usable. And I've also mixed in about 10% worm castings as well. So I'm just doing a few early sowings, just a few things, on some broccoli, some spring onions, some lettuce and some greyhound cabbage, because I've run out of sauerkraut and I want to get some more sauerkraut going, so I'm going to grow some greyhound cabbage, which are quite quick, and some of that will be turned into sauerkraut. But I'm just doing some sowings. I can do some more in April. After I've put these few sowings in here, I'm going to start on this raised bed over here that I did, like my asparagus bed, if you saw that video. I've only done that one. I've got another two I can do, but I had to stop because again it hurt my leg. But I'm going to do some carrots in there, just some early Nance carrots, and get them going. I shall put a fleece over, and I'll put a fleece over here as well because it's all outside, just to try and bring them on a little bit. And then I'm also going to get some broad beans in. So last year I did a video on electroculture, which has actually proved quite a popular video, even though I didn't do a full trial. I kind of started it a bit late and never really sort of followed it through. So this year I am going to be doing it, I'm doing a 3-bed trial. So I'm going to do 3 beds, same crops, all planted at the same time, 3 with antennas in, and then another 3 identical but with no antennas, with a gap of 2 beds in between, just so it's not affected, it's not close enough to affect it. And then I'll just follow that through the season and sort of see how it affects things, see how it goes. So I'll be starting that today, putting the broad beans in, and I think I might do a bed of main crop potatoes as well, just because that'd be interesting to sort of weigh and see the yields from that. But yeah, it's just nice to get started. Obviously, like I say, these things happen, and I've been put back a little bit, but it's nice to have a day and actually start getting some seeds in the ground. I still haven't even finished my clearing yet. I've got some beds that need clearing. I just couldn't bend over, my leg was so tight I couldn't do anything. I had to take nearly 2 months completely off. But these things happen, don't they? But like I say, it's nice to be actually getting some seeds in the ground. So I'll crack on and get these few in, and then I'll fleece this over, and then I'll have to sieve a bit of compost and get some nice fine compost like this over on top of the carrot bed there. And I've done them I'm doing the carrots and parsnips in raised beds this year, like I say, purely because my ground here is so stony, and with any root crops, if they get longer than about 6 or 8 inches, they just snap off. I can't get them out of the ground. It's so stony, so rock hard, and it's really annoying. So that's the main reason that I'm doing these raised beds now, is from the root crops. So I've got enough for 3 beds, so that should be enough. But I might buy myself another pallet of blocks and do a couple more beds. I'll get 2 beds out of a pallet, and I shall probably sort of keep them this end here and do the deeper beds here. But anyway, let's crack on. So I've just put a bit of compost on. I didn't actually bother sieving it. It's not too bad. This has just been run over with my tiller, just fluffed up as I moved from the middle bay to the third bay, and it's actually fluffed it up quite nicely. It's a little bit lumpy, but it's not too bad. So I'm just going to give it a go without having to sieve it. And I'm just going to put 3 or 4 rows of carrots in, and then I'll do the same as I go along. I'll put a bit of fresh compost on and put 3 or 4 rows every 10 days or something until the bed's full, and see where we go from there. I'm hoping these raised beds are gonna work really well. We'll see how they go. It's all homemade compost in these beds, 100%. It costs a fortune to fill these with bought compost, so it's nice to be at a point now where I can actually have enough of my own compost to do these things, to do these projects. So I'm not sowing them too thickly, but I'm hoping being up this high as well will help with carrot root fly, because they're supposed to fly quite close to the ground, so I'm hoping it might help with that as well. And I think it'd just be a lot easier to harvest. Compost is quite moist, but I will just give it a little bit of water just to bed them in. And it's as easy as that. I'll fleece it over direct. I won't use a hoop, so I'll fleece it direct on the top of the blocks, and keep the fleece nice and low. Right, there we go. Just make sure these are away. It's quite windy today. I don't want anything to blow away. Just cover these. And then once I've covered them, I'll just put a label just so I know where I've got to. It's all going to be carrots in this bed, so I only need the one label. It's just to show how far I've come, and then I can just add to it. Like I say, I need to put a bit more compost in as I go, but I can just do that as I go and as I seed. I'll just give them a little tamp down with the back of the rake. And then just a little gentle water. So the compost is fairly moist, so that'll do. And then I'll just get a few bricks ready. I only need to fleece it sort of just past where I've come, and I can fold it out as I go then. So this fleece is quite a thin one. It's only 17 grams per square metre, I think. So I'm going to double it, just double it over like that. It's going to be a bit of a pain in the wind, but as long as I can get it started, get a brick on. And we'll go from there. Then once you've got one brick on, you can kind of just get it into place. I'll just roll this up at the end, put a brick on there, and put another brick just at this end here. I've got plenty of bricks. I was given a couple of hundred of these paviours off of a friend of mine that was doing a job and he had a load over, so they actually come in really handy. That's a good thing with this bed. I won't ever fill the compost right to the top, I don't think. I'll always keep it a couple of inches below, because when you first sow your seeds you can just lay the fleece flat on like that. Just gives you a little tiny air gap, but it should trap the warm air in there, and then as anything gets bigger, if it needs netting or whatever, I can just put the hoops in. But yeah, and the idea is I'm going to plant lettuce in these holes in a few weeks' time, and just have one lettuce per hole. There's 20 blocks, so that's 40 lettuce, 2 holes a block. So I'm hoping they're going to work quite well. I just need to obviously fill all the holes, get them all ready. Jobs to do, always jobs to do. So I'm just dibbing the holes for my broad beans. I'm doing them direct this year. I have suffered with mice in the past, but because I had a really bad infestation of rats this winter, I did a video on that, and I did end up, I tried trapping them. I ended up having to put some poison down. It was just ridiculous, and I looked online, and apparently it was a very bad year for rats. A lot of people had suffered, and so I had put poison down, and obviously that's going to have knocked a fair few of the mice on the head. So I decided to try sowing direct whilst the sort of population of mice are down. I may put a couple of traps under a little stack of bricks just nearby as well. But all I'm doing is I'm dibbing the holes in these beds. I get about 11 or 12 long. I just do it by eye, about a foot apart. So I get 3 rows a foot apart that way, of about 11 or 12 a foot apart that way as well. So I just use this is an old rake handle, rake snapped off, so that metal end is about 2.5 inches. So I just go down about the depth of that, and then just open the hole a little bit, give it a bit of a wiggle, and that's about the right depth. So that's all the holes done. And I'm literally just going to chuck a seed in each hole. Now what I will do is I will probably sow a few in pots as spares, just in case these don't, there's some get taken, they don't take or whatever. So I'll do a tray full of spares just in case. So I'm just popping 1 seed per hole. You could put a couple and then thin, but I'd rather than putting 2 in every hole, if I do sort of 10 spares or something, then that should be enough. Nice and quick with these big seeds. So there you go, it's 1 seed per hole, and then all I do is just get my rake and just gently just rake over, fill the holes in. And this is just compost straight out of my other compost heap, the outdoor one. It is covered, but it did blow off and get a lot of rain on it, so it's quite wet compost actually, so I'm not going to bother watering these in at all. And like I say, I'm late with everything this year because of my injury, so I've literally only just put this compost on today, I was behind with everything. So I'm going to do this bed of broad beans, and this is part of my trial with electroculture for my electroculture video. So I'm going to do another bed over in the other set of 3 that are all going to be identical, and those ones will have the antennas in, 2 or 3 antennas per bed. So I'll do a video on that and sort of follow it throughout the season and just see if it makes any difference to the growth rates, yields, etc. It's quite an interesting topic, and it seems very popular, so definitely going to follow up on that. But there you go, so a bed of broad beans. I will just go along and just tamp the bed down, and I may well fleece this over, just because I know the blackbirds will come on and be hooking about looking for the worms, so I might just fleece it over while they germinate, just to hold a bit of heat in and stop the blackbirds hooking it all out. And then I can always just put bird netting on once they're up, just to keep the pigeons off. But anyway, that's it. That's mid-March. I think we're the 13th of March today. Like I say, a bit of a slow start for me. I've still got to clear some beds. I've got some parsnips here left in one of these beds that I want to do on this 3-bed trial for the electroculture, so I've got to clear the rest of the parsnips. Probably got about 15 parsnips left there, and I've still got some Brussels that are actually going. Even though the plants are small, they've still got a few Brussels on them, so I'm going to leave those and harvest what I can and just sort of plant as I go. Still got a few leeks to clear there. There's still quite a lot of work to be done. It's a busy time of year, but hopefully I'm better now and I can crack on and actually start doing a bit of content, because I've been sort of clutching at straws a bit really the last few weeks, not being able to do a lot. But anyway, back into it now. It's nice to get a few seeds in the ground, and it's an exciting time of year really, because you know everything's coming. So anyway guys, take it easy and we will see you next time.